Completely fair. Completely fair. And after those bans, the only thing I want to mention is Daniel kind of showed his TFT preference coming in, but let's bring it into the bands, picks and bans here, and see what we're going to look at for this next upcoming game, because we've got a series on our hands.
Let's go. I do wonder if it's a little disheartening for De Birdman, knowing that they spent 3 bans on Royal and De Birdman got his most favorable champion and still lost the lane. Now, that it could have just been attributed to jungle diff, a bad invade, but it probably is a little disheartening knowing that even after all those bans and you getting your top priority pick, you still lost the lane.
I think he'd be happy for a run back though. do the Nivea Mort again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta prove yourself now. Yeah, JBB, I definitely favored them a lot coming into this series, but now they really have something to prove.
Yeah, CR gained my favor with that Zach pick, so I'm rooting for them at this point.
I think JBB can bring it back in this draft. I'm hoping to see them not pick a Teemo and play something a bit more aggressive and/or team oriented in the top lane that can actually help out in the 5v5s. As we know, it's not really a split push meta right now; it's a team fight meta, and if they keep trying to go through that, I don't think they're going to end up winning this series.
Just for
Hopefully
an
they
update.
just start with playing their actual roles though.
Yeah.
That'd be a good start.
Just for an update, we're once again running into technical difficulties, so we're gonna have to fix those, of course, as you know the league client and everything else tends to work just as well as you should expect from a small indie company. So we're gonna.
Riot famously, they have 2 people working on it, and their resources are running, so like we can't expect.
No. Especially not just to work with pick and ban. So.
Exactly. As we do get into draft, finally, there we go. It is JBB on the blue side, and they're going to take out, again, the Rise ban for the first ban, with CR taking out Rhythm.
Yes, I guess
We go. Sorry about that.
Alright, and then JBB is going to be taking the Red Bull Analyst Desk advice, and they are getting rid of that Lulu right away. Don't want to see that character in. With Sejuani being the CR is going to go for Volibear, and probably another jungler. Sorry, I realized I didn't send the draft to you guys. It's my fault.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see it, but I can see it off the Discord stream, so all good
you guys
now.
Just watch the Discord stream.
And there it is, Lee Sin.
There we go.
I think we're definitely seeing Sacknut's return to the top lane here.
Yeah, we've got the Lee Sin pick out already.
I'd much rather see
quick.
Man over the Senna ban personally, because I don't remember like when we were scouting for JBB. I don't remember much Senna stuff. I know they played some janky stuff with like Senna Vladimir and stuff, but is that really something you got to be worried about, right? Like,
yeah, I don't think it really worked out when they played it.
Royal founders.
There's Mordekaiser.
Yeah,
right. Royal's feeling his Mordekaiser. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like he's taken back his word from earlier on in the season that Mordekaiser is, it's pretty useless. You can't really play it. It's not great anymore. Plays one game of it, and he's like, "Wow, no, I love it. My pick's back." And now we're just gonna see him come across here. Okay, I'm curious already. Are they gonna do what JBB did in one of their games? I do remember that JBB pulled an entire Shadow Isles comp, and I do know that Sean famously loves to play Viego.
It's against us.
It was, yeah.
Wait, who was that against?
Yeah, we banned Viego second game.
Who won that one? I don't even remember.
I think we did.
The Shadow Isle
was our first game because we banned out the Viego.
And then we played Viego and ran it.
Yeah, and then we ran it the second game with Viego.
Right. So okay.
The casters were talking about how the game didn't matter, but we were playing for seed, I think, in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Right.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mentioned the day before on the stream that on our perspective that it didn't change our standing. I think they took that as saying the game didn't matter.
Yeah, that was our mistake. I remember that. as
The run back.
Ezreal and Nivea get locked in for JBB, and it is going to be a fresh Jinx. So, still a very bot lane focused pick from ZR. Obviously, a little bit more versatility on the Thresh, and something safe for JBB bot lane. But the Birdman going back to the Nivea, wanting the mirror match. I guess deciding that if as long as Mordekaiser doesn't get double buffs as well as 2 crit kills before 3 minutes, he can do work.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think CR needs to be a little careful here because you got to remember that the last game doesn't carry over at all into this new game. So just because it worked out last game doesn't mean it's gonna work out again. Like you have to think about why it worked out, and it was purely because he got those 2 kills and double buff really early on, and you can't just rely on that, thinking like that's gonna happen again. So if you think that Mordekaiser is in a bad place and it's hard for him to come out on top, especially against a control mage like Anivia, I wonder if he's maybe being a little too confident on this pick, but we'll see. He's proven us wrong before, so we'll have to see how it turns out.
They're gonna look to get rid of the Silas of all things after that. Are they expecting to see Daniel on the Silas, or are they maybe thinking that they're looking at a swap for the Mordekaiser?
He has played Silas before. I know
has.
Daniel can pretty much play any top lane champion, so
That is fair. It's just it's curious to me to see if they're expecting him to pull it out against the current ults that they have against them here. I'm not personally. I don't see much of the value outside of being able to steal the Lee Sin kick currently, but that is going to be Sean Zach again being able to put out a lot of pressure. So Swark is smiling already. I can see that. Only pick he can play, so.
Oh,
Cheese picks. Cheese picks only.
cheese all day. As Morgana is gonna get picked up in response to the Zac, very farm heavy jungler, but I guess looking for more of that defensive utility to really block any form of that Zac engage on one of the characters.
I gotta say, I'm really liking the JBB comp right now. I think that they have a solid setup, especially if someone gets extremely ahead and Mork puts that shield down on them. Like, Mork them at that point, right? They're pretty much invincible. It's huge, so let's see what happens.
Mork's support is what it's going to look like as Olaf gets drafted for the counter pick into Zac. That's not meta, but definitely still viable.
I was going to say, like, as far as it goes, there's a lot of, stopping CC and being able to just dive. The only disjointed portion of this comp, which we could a little bit argue here, is maybe the Anivia being a little out of place. But outside of that, being able to just run into their team with at least 2 forms or 2 champions that'll have anti-CC on them is pretty big. And, okay, I've seen Royal on Corki, and I do want to know, Cirrus, what is your opinion on it? I'm not sure if you had gone against it. I can't quite remember if that was the case, but I do remember something along the lines of somebody saying that it was not as impressive as you'd like it to be.
I didn't play against him on Corki. I actually played Corki against him, and I think in our games we actually played them twice with Corki and Zac. And I'm taking it as it took a page out of our book at this point.
That's fair. That's fair.
If
anything, it looks like they learned a lot from you guys in the games that they went against. So we do have that. Does confirm that there's a Mordekaiser in the top lane, which is trusting Daniel with a little bit more of a what I'd consider to be a back and forth lane. But we're gonna have to see how this all pans out here. Looking at the comps in their entirety now here, what do we think is the expected outcome out of these?
I think JBB definitely has a lot of dive. Like Lee Sin is going to be able to get into this this team comp pretty well, I think, especially if he gets a black shield. And I think Ezreal and Nivea might be kind of fine on the backline because Ezreal's a pretty slippery champion, and Nivea has the egg and has ways to stop herself from being dove. So it could be pretty good dive comp from JBB. On the other side, with that Jinx Thresh, it's definitely going to be some pretty good front to back. So I think if they can manage to peel the Jinx really well, then it will be pretty good team fighting from CR because that Jinx is just going to scale really and could tear through the team. However, we do have to take into account that we're expecting a lot of big things from this Lee Sin top. So our predictions might just all go into the wind, and we might see like a 7-0 Lee Sin at 5 minutes. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My money for this game is definitely on JBB. I think they have a lot of different champions that can be played a lot of different ways. Morg, Ezreal, as well as Lee Sin, are also versatile in how they can choose to play fights. And importantly, JBB doesn't have a lot of wave clear for their scaling comp. They have Corki, which provides some, but nothing like you'd want to see like with an Oriana or a Ziggs or anything like that. So JBB is got my prediction for this.
I'll agree. The only thing I would say is a late game Anivia can do a lot of damage in anybody who's going to be going into them, but if they are focused early on enough, and I would expect that from Sean and Royal as a combo, we might not be seeing that kind of potential. Outside of that, though, I do want to throw it out over into the predictions here. Who do we think is going to win? I do want to ask, as we do have another game on our hands here, and I want to hear those predictions. We'll start.
I guess I could go first.
We'll start with
Okay,
Dins.
yeah. Well, if I try to remove myself from last game, I know there's a couple key things that went wrong that probably won't go wrong again. I'm gonna go back to JBB. I think the Lee Sin is just gonna absolutely destroy top lane and just carry the game off this Lee Sin.
All right, let's bring to Stefano next here. What do you think?
I agree with JBB. I've kind of already explained it. Versatile team comp that has very many ways they can play the fight. They all snowball pretty hard. CR has no wave clear. I think JBB's got this one.
All right, let's bring it to GFG. There's a consensus between this hive mind of a team going on here.
Casting couch.
Personally, I like the CR team comp more. I think it's just way easier to play, like mechanically. But I think the Sacknut Lee Sin is just gonna take over in this game, and I think JBB is gonna force a game 3.
I'm gonna disagree with him on a slow basis that I think Royal might know the interactions of Corki with Morgana Shield, Olaf, and Anivia. If he uses his package correctly in team fights around objectives, he can create a lot of havoc for their team and knock the Anivia out of her ult and make sure that Olaf can't get to that backline and or he's taking 300 to 400 damage a second from that package. So should be interesting there.
I think that JBB has a really strong mid-game team. I think that needs to be their focus for this game, because if CR just delays and they wait on late game, they have such a strong late game as a team. So I think it depends on what they focus on. They also have a strong early with the Zac and easy ganks, but we'll have to see what happens. I'm still going to bet on CR for this one. I think that they have a strong foundational team. I think JBB has a strong team as well, but it depends on how they play it.
All right, and I'll throw out my opinion in the end here. I do think, as much as I always flame Daniel, I don't think that Daniel's going to win this one. And I'm going to keep that storyline going, because as far as it goes, I think that last game was a little bit of a fluke, more so because he was against a Teemo of all things, and I don't see him getting past that. I do have hopes for CR in the fact that if they do get to the late game, they can bring it out. But I think that the early game presence, especially with the Olaf versus the Zac, and being able to just fight him consistently if need be, will be the turnaround point. But outside of that, that's our predictions. So we're throwing it out, and we're going to go right over into our competitive integrity break, and we'll be back with you in probably about a minute and a half. Talk to you guys later.
All right, here we are with game 2 for the bronze medal match. We have CR on the red side and JBB taking up the blue side of this game. All right, Dinsbag is not here, so this is going to be a solo cast for the next little bit. We have pretty normal runes and masteries across the board. Noticeably, this is a 4 TP game, so we can definitely expect a lot of cross-map plays. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some Fiesta's bot lane with the 4 TP, but I'll have to wait and see. In terms of early game, nothing too out of the ordinary. There's no invades or anything going on by either side. You can see Daniel posturing a little bit aggressively, like he wants to take on this Lee Sin level 1. Don't know if that is going to be a smart move, but not going to matter if Sakna just decides to go the lane the normal way. I think a really important thing to look at in this game going forward is how efficient are the junglers going to be in the Bang Pass. We saw the first game obviously was very much decided by the snowballing of the jungle in the early game. So it's going to be both on Sean and Kid Guido to make smart moves and to see if they can force plays to get their team advantage, specifically on Kid Guido. Advantages early to snowball this game. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for him, though. Very proficient jungler, and he is on a very strong in the forum.
Yeah, and I must say, this
welcome
integrity
back,
break, this integrity break was definitely shorter than the last one. So that was a little unexpected, I guess.
Welcome back, Dins. We just see some normal trading going on. Dins,
Yes.
you're the analyst here. What are you thinking is going to happen specifically for this top segment? Now, a lot of talk about Daniel. A lot of people think that he's a little bit weak side top laner as opposed to carry side. Do you think he's going to be able to pop off this game and have a similar performance last game, or do you think it's just going to be more of a kind of situation?
Yeah, well, he's already down 5 CS, which is about half. So it's not starting off that great. I think he needs to utilize his Mordekaiser Qs and passive a lot more than he's doing right now. Like, he should be able to poke out Lee Sin every time he walks up. And even these early trades, he should be able to win it. Especially if Sean's on the way, he should have stuck that. But yeah, forces out the flash, so that's good. It's possible that Mordekaiser can win this lane pretty well. Mordekaiser definitely excels in these melee matchups, even though Lee Sin's kind of more of an in-and-out type of champion. But he should be able to force the Lee Sin off the wave a lot. It just comes down to execution, if he's able to really do that. And then we see, what was that hook?
Hook and binding both land. Little bit of a Dragon Ball Z moment where you both hit each other in the face.
Yeah,
but
just
not
both
too
charging
much
up their attacks.
Exactly. Not too much is going to land from it. We can see in the bottom lane, even for CS, so good for JBB. They were rather behind at CS at this point in the game before. And likely just is down to lane. Pugma can be very weak when they don't have cooldowns up, but if you try to fight them with the shield on, with the W Kog'Maw on, then it is going to be very hard. So, but good job by JBB for keeping this competitive and sealing up one of the bigger factors that we saw last game.
Yeah, so it's nice that that the bot lanes are pretty much staying even, and looks like in top lane the CS numbers are starting to equalize a bit. I guess maybe Daniel's taking a little more command of the lane, which is going to be really important if he doesn't want Saknet to get out of control. So this is a pretty normal early game, no crazy invades, no crazy fights. So I think both teams are probably breathing fine right now, and
Kid Corito's bottom lane.
Engage here.
Black Shield lands on. Direct Camera has better ideas. Ignite goes down onto Murphy. Kid Corito's gonna fly over the act. It's not gonna lane. Saknot fire a little bit. Daniel having the upper hand in terms of HP in this lane. Unfortunate that the gank didn't go the way of JBB in the bottom lane, but they were able to force out the flash. All it took was the Ignite from Black Moto, but now Sean's here. Black Shield lands. Flash forward, Ignite lands onto GG denied. Kid Corito's there. Hook is available, and it is going to land onto Kid Corito, and that's a first blood onto your hyper-scaling Jinx. No sums in the bot lane, but 300 extra gold for the side of Cashier Born.
Yeah, that's actually going to be really nice for CR. I was saying earlier that it seems like both teams all going according to plan. nothing. You don't have to worry about a 5-0 Mordekaiser this early on. But that one kill towards Jinx, it's not game ending, but it definitely is something, and it could get this Harley and Murphy lane into a snowball position. I do like to see that this Mordekaiser is starting to fight the Lee Sin a little bit more, because I feel like Mordekaiser is going to win pretty much all these early fights if you play it properly. Stand behind the minions and just Q where you can, get those autos off. Once you have your passive up, you'll does so much damage early on, like we saw in the last game when Royal responded to that
Burrito
invade.
going aggressive onto Murphy. He knows there's no flash. Sean, however, does have flash. He's going to get Dark binded up. The passive is going to be fought. There's 2 TPs on the side of Kaiju Reformed, but they're not going to end up going for it, just letting Sean die. What a hero. He dies for his support. Murphy was
Sorry,
able
Sean.
to escape. Yes, a nice pickup by JBB there to get a little bit of gold back. It does go onto GG denied, so that's going to be a rather big boom for them going forward.
Yeah, looks
Yep.
like
That's
a bit of an
Stacknet
engage here.
going
I
in.
don't think Lee Sin wins that.
Yeah, he does have the item advantage, so he did think he was gonna have a little bit of an easier time, but probably don't want
Yeah.
to be diving the Mordekaiser regardless.
So
of how
close to
many-
tower with ult up. I don't think Lee Sin wins that.
Yeah,
So he wisely escapes from the tower.
yeah, good call by him. We go back to bot lane. Harley now just still even on CS. We see GG denied was actually able to pick up that blue buff, which is going to be very helpful for a champion like Ezreal, who just wants to CS at range, just throw his Qs out haphazardly without any risk, and that's what he's going to do. So the blue buff, how important do you think a blue buff is going to be on a champion like Ezreal in this early game when both laners have a kill?
It's definitely going to be really, really helpful, because the thing about Ezreal with his trades is what gets him on the winning side of it is his passive of being able to keep using abilities to have the 5 stacks so that you have a lot of attack speed, and that helps him a lot to win fights.
But Kid Corritos here is Harley's gonna dodge the dark binding, but there's no sums available. Ragnarok gonna run out now. Murphy plays him in. Hook lands. They're gonna go for the kill. Heal comes out. He's gonna keep him alive, but Harley now take it out. Kid Corrito well played. Has the
There it
Ragnarok
is.
just runs right through him, and that's why it's so important to not be pushed up when you don't have someone who's on an immobile kill for Legends.
Yeah, it's possible that we just saw the game be decided off that play. Those 2 kills onto the Ezreal is not what you wanted to see, and you notice that he still has full mana. So, like as I was saying, like if Ezreal not just from
going
Oh,
mid
has the flash.
forces out the flash. Great patience by Bahuocho. Unfortunately, he's in the binding afterwards. Still, good job forcing the flash. Royal was smart to recognize he didn't have the mana for W. Probably wouldn't have been able to back, but good plays all around the board by JVP.
a little bit of fighting going on in the top lane. It seems like Daniel does know the power of this champion. He knows when he can fight, and he knows when he can win the fight. So I think Sacknut's really respecting that. Nothing crazy has really gone on yet.
Oh,
As we
Kid
do
Corritos
see,
here.
He's the
Insect
gank.
is going
He
to land
has
onto
the-
Ben, but
he has
he's
the new
in the shadow
Mordekaiser
realm.
skin.
Ah, yes, very important. He's gonna flash out. He's gonna go in. He's gonna take tower aggro, but it's not gonna matter. Sacknut's gonna get out of there with life. Another early kill from Kid Corrito, and this is exactly what they need to be doing. 1K gold lead at not before 10 minutes even. Kid Corrito is trying to carry his team the best he can.
Yeah, so I always like when I see this, when I see a Mordekaiser, as we saw last game too, ulting people with that new skin, because it allows them to experience the new skin as well. So honestly, that was like
Selfless play by Daniel.
yeah, he gave them the kill and a nice view. That
Wow.
was really nice of him. What a stand-up guy.
Well, stand-up guy. Team player for both teams. Wow.
Exactly.
As we see here, bot lane of Casual getting super zoned off by this massively dead Ezreal. We see there, Bahuoto did get a support item. He's going to be able to keep him safe as well. Not even get so there's not even going to be a large gank threat. There was in such a safe lane. This is getting worse and worse by the minute for the side of Casual Reform.
Yeah, with that Sheen now, there's nothing that Harley and Murphy can really do at this point, and it just comes down to how many Qs can Ezreal land, because they're either gonna have to stay completely off the wave, or they're gonna have to risk being poked, and if they get poked out enough, then they're just gonna dive off of an engage. So it's gonna be really hard for Harley and Murphy to try and come back from this lane because Ezreal's so far ahead now.
Yep. As we see Kid Credo once again, he's going to go into Daniel. He's going to puck away, but he's got nowhere to run and everything to lose. As he gets taken down, that's going to be 2-0 for Sacknut, and that's not what you want to see. They fed Lee Sin in early game pump. He's already got the gourd. He'll have the gourd drinking base. CR is going to get the consolation dragon, but oh, all right. That was a good lantern and a good job getting his health. He doesn't passing it, but
Yeah, and a good
double,
smite to secure.
yeah, that is going to be pretty bad for the side of JBB. Is the double dragon for CR? That means JBB isn't going to be able to force them to fight when they want you over the elder.
And one thing that's extra difficult for Daniel in this top lane is that once your laner does get ahead as Mordekaiser, you still have a lot of playmaking potential against 2v1 dives from your ultimate, because if your top lane opponent is a little too strong for you to face, you can ult the jungler usually. Because it's Olaf, Daniel knows that the Olaf is just going to ult, and then I believe that takes him out of the Mordekaiser ult. If I'm
Sean
correct.
goes in. Murphy and Royal are here. The Q is going to land. Ragnarok is going to get popped off. The hook lands, and he's going to take it, but can't be disabled. Ragnarok flashes out. Ignite is ticking down, and it's going to be enough. Murphy's going to get the kill. A nice pick off of the roam by Murphy. You can see Bahuoto was there, but not in time. Well played by the side of Casual Reform. Murphy now potentially looking. He is going to get dark blinded. Both the mid laners are there, and they're looking for blood. Nothing gonna amount to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a really nice kill. CR
Sean, once again, sorry to cut you off. Going for mid lane,
all good.
going for the gank. Not gonna end up finding. Sorry, Dins, watch what you're saying there.
All good. There's just a lot of action here. So, yeah, CR's taking what they can get with that kill onto the Olaf. They know that it's not looking good right now. The 2 carries on JVB, mainly Sacknet just being like a carry overall, and then having the other ADC both fed, is not very good for CR. So they're trying to make plays where they can. They're trying to catch people on rotations, catch people taking vision. That was probably a little overzealous of Kid Corito stepping into the enemy jungle again, and that was the 3-man rotation that just completely destroyed him. But they are still up 3k JBB, so they're still in a really nice spot. Terrorizing the top lane right now. Ezreal still 3-0, even in CS. Just scaling for late game where JBB can really terrorize the other team and run through them. So CR needs to try and make some plays soon so that they don't get too far behind. It is good that they have 2 dragons, because that allows them to play for soul a lot better and a lot easier. And as I say, that looks like a little engage going on here.
Yeah, Kid Corito down in the bottom lane. Good thing Murphy didn't land or take any hook. That would have been death for him. So good game sense by Murphy, but even still, we can see the bot lane. Murphy trying to make a play, but there's just too much damage and too much maneuverability.
Yeah.
As Dark Blinding lands onto the Jinx, Lantern's going to fall down. It is not going to be in time. Was that a Q with the greatest snipe of all time from GG Denied? 4-0. Mechanical misplay is going to cost the bot lane another kill inside of Sierra. The Sacknut takes out Daniel, I guess not so low. He's going to get kicked. His HP is going low. He's going to do his best to stall, but it's not going to be enough, and it's going to be a solo kill by Sacknut. It's falling apart for CR at the seams. Murphy now getting go. Please let me catch my breath. He goes golden. Same with Bahuoto, trying their best, but it's not going to be enough. He is going to take out Bahuoto in the end, but he's going to fall himself. And that was 3 for 1 across the map with a tower going for JVB.
Possibly a second tower here. Okay, maybe not, but Oh, and
Sean.
more engages going
What?
on.
Sean going in Kid Crudo, they know he doesn't. He has Ragnarok up. They are still going to go for him. Classic Slingshot will be up in a few seconds. Royal has Package, he's approaching, but the Birdman is right there. Package is going to go out, and it's going to do a crap ton of damage. Harley's able to pick up the kill. Sean's going to continue, but not going to find the angle, so they're going to back up. Dragon is in 40 seconds, and your jungler is down for 20. That is going to mean CR is going to have control of this Dragon Pit if they feel like it.
Kid Kurito once again in the wrong jungle at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he is the only one that's bleeding on the side of JBB. They haven't given over any shutdowns, so and he with each death he becomes worth less, so worth less
Yep.
than before. So um, that is kind of nice for JBB that they're still far ahead in gold, and so they're not really turning anything over to CR.
Oh,
They're
no.
still coming out way ahead in these fights.
Oh, and we see there, it is going to be CR starting up the dragon. I can't help but feel like this is a mistake. They're so far down in gold, they have the double dragon, and it looks like Sean might just be going for this steal. He has the elastic slingshot available. He's charging it up, and he's going in. He's not going to secure it just a little bit. We're going to smite a second already for him, and TP's out. But that is just going to be Sean. Steal, I understand why he did it. I don't hate the play in principle, but even still, that's an extra kill for the side of JBB, an extra kill in the top lane, as Kid Burrito's now going down. The Dark Binding lands onto Murphy, but it's not going to be enough now. Murphy has to flash away. G9 flashes in after him, really doing what he can to slow them down, and it is going to be enough. There's no further kills traded in the bot side for Casual Reform, but even still, top lane going down with your jungler, a huge amount of farm lost. This Lee Sin is going to be out of control along with this.
Yeah, I think what we saw right there was just tough decisions. This is similar to where JBB were last game, where it felt like the game was out of control and they could make a play now and lose, or make a play later and lose. They know that that JBB is really strong late game. They're already so far
Sean
ahead.
going topside, going to do what he can to get him back. The hand is going to land. There is a kick available.
Daniel
And there it
has
is. Harley is there as well. She's going to do her best. There are chasing this. They know there's no one on the side of the map, but he's too fast and he gets away. And all it took was his roundhouse kick. CR really needed that, but has for
Yeah.
the price of overreaching, they're going to lose mid lane.
Yeah, the thing about Mordekaiser is you can use his ult to give your team time to position. So Daniel could have ulted the Lee Sin to give the Jinx and the Zac the time to form up around Lee Sin to make sure he has no escape. But I guess maybe he thought that he would die too quickly in that. But it caused Sakna getting away with that big bounty. So it's very, very unfortunate for CR. That could have been really huge for them. But as I was saying before, like right now, CR's in that spot where they know that they can go for like how Zac went for that Dragon Steal. Like they can go for a play like that, and it probably doesn't pan out. Or they can wait until Soul Point, or they can wait until Baron when JBB is just going to be even stronger. And so it's like no matter what they do, they're making an unfavorable play, and they know in the end they're just going to be outscaled, and either they can wait it out and just slowly bleed and lose, or they can try to make a play now and they still have somewhat of a grasp on the game. So I that's why like you said, like respect on the Zac going for it, because it's really all they can go for right now. They're so far behind. The Lee Sin and Ezreal are really fed, and it's hard for CR to make any plays right now.
Yeah, like they do scale well. They have the Corki skills, well, they have the Jinx, and Olaf famously falls off. There is still strength, of course, in Ezreal and Nivea late game, but not nearly as much as the long con for CR. So it is. I respect Sean just trying to stop the bleeding. If they give up much more, it's going to be in that state where it is not comebackable. But unfortunately, isn't going to be able to make it this time. As we see now on the backside, Dark Binding is going to land. Kid Kurito's there, and that's a dead Harley. Not much he can do. Yeah, they knew they didn't know they were there. The ward coverage wasn't there. That's just poor warding by the side. of casual form, but Royals now here has the packet available. Sean is hovering on the side. It looks like they want to take this 3v3. Sean is charging the Elastic Slingshot. He's going to go in onto Kid Kudo. There's no ult available. Package is going to... I have no words for
Gonna
how
draw
big
a
of a
line.
whiff that was. Yeah.
Draw a line in the sand.
Yeah,
Do not come
exactly.
past this point.
He is gonna... And you know what? It worked. They're not going past where that was.
They're scared.
Big brain play by Royal, making sure he knows you can't go past this part. This place belongs to me, but the rest of the map belongs to JBB as they work on both of the remaining inner tier turrets on the side of casual form, and it's just the inhib left for CR.
It is nice that CR has that like hard hyper carry scaling in the Corki and Jinx, but it's gonna be very hard for them to get to that point.
Going in, they are going to take a look on the side. It's Daniel doing his best versus GG denied, but not going to make it. They do get a pick. It is only a 1-for-1 jungler for support, not exactly what we'd be calling worth, and I do find it hilarious. Sean, in this game, decided to go with the Dark Seal instead of in the last game.
And you know, it's very possible if this game goes out to 40 to 45 minutes and they squeeze it out that long, that that the Corki and Jinx can come online, and then it's like anybody's game at that point. It's just gonna be extremely difficult.
Yeah, you're gonna need that 3-4 items on both of their carries, and right now they're both sitting on about 1.5, a little bit more than half Royal, but not much more. And it is just a scaling game for the side of CR. They're gonna have to do everything they can to make sure they have good wave control and they don't do what Royal just did, pushing it out. It doesn't look like it's gonna matter too much. It's just gonna push it back in, but it's gonna be a real struggle for the side of CR.
Yeah, all CR can hope for is that you say no to the FF and you say, "Don't worry, team. We scale. Don't
We're
worry."
scaling. It's fine, guys.
But yeah, that's all they can really hope for is that. Let's just hope this goes to 45 minutes, and we can all get our items, and that they mess up at every step along the way, and we get free 1,000 gold shutdowns, and we get 2 Baron steals, and we steal the Elder Drake, and then we'll win. You know,
Yeah,
at that point you're hoping for like so many things to happen.
we do see both of the mid and laners at their double items. Not a huge power spike like you see with 3 items that these AD carries gets, but Phantom Dancer on Jinx and Essence Weaver on the Corgi are going to be rather big, but it's just going to be JBB that is sneaking the Baron, and CR have absolutely no idea.
Looks like they're going to check it right now. No, they don't realize how low it is right now. I mean, I guess they could rely on that CECS Jinx rocket that seems to steal all the objectives.
Yeah.
they could have hoped for that as their win condition, but unfortunately they just didn't have any information on it.
Yeah, and so that is going to be the Baron going over to JBB. The game is in their hands. Only the inhibitor turrets are remaining. So far ahead in so many different areas. Well, what do you think JBB has to do to make sure they don't throw this? What lanes are they pushing, and what combination of characters in each lane are they going with?
Okay, well, first of all, do not give over those shutdowns to Corki or Jinx because that is like the worst case scenario. But like how they're doing here, a bit of a 1-3-1, I guess you could say 3-1-1. How they're getting the Baron buff in all those lanes. They have oh, a little hook here. I'm not sure if it's gonna turn into anything. No.
Oh,
but Sean jumps
Sean's going into Kid Credo. Kid Credo has the Ragnarok, so they're going onto the Birdman instead. Flashes through the Q. Package comes in. It's such a hard dive. And he is going to get his passive up. He's going into the egg. The egg goes down shortly after. But now Sacknut is here. Harley on the backside. I think he loves his Qs, but Sacknut is so tanky and he does so much damage. He is getting melted. Mordekaiser ult comes down, but now Royal's here. A few remaining members. Sacknut is still looking there. Sean going in for GG tonight, but a nice arcade shift without the elastic slingshot means that GG Knight is going to get away. That's a 1 for 3 so far. GG Knight still in a little bit of a precarious position, not going to get punished for it. Saknat and Roto still looking for more. Very long fight, but it looks like CR is just happy to take the 3 for 1 trade and go
I
out.
think it was just
and
2.
2 for 1. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. 2 for 1 trade and go out. But even still, that's a big win for CR.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. They got Olaf's shutdown. They didn't get any of the shutdowns that they wanted.
Yeah.
I guess wisely JBB knew that something might go wrong, so they put the big shutdowns in the other lanes. They put Ezreal in the mid lane, and they put Saknet in the bot lane where no one else was, just in case someone died. But yeah.
Smart.
One thing I will say that Daniel had a really good ult there because Mordekaiser, he can use that ult to stop dives, and when he ulted that Lee Sin to stop the Lee Sin from terrorizing that Thresh and Jinx, he was probably about to get both those kills, but because Mordekaiser ulted him, it pretty much saved their lives, and so it stopped Lee Sin from completely taking over that fight. So it was really good on the side of Daniel to take that Lee out of the fight.
And we see now third dragon is being prepped. It's going to be a third Mountain Soul. So Mountain Soul is arguably the best in the game right now. But Sean dying over a blue buff doesn't seem like a call. He's going to get CC'd and taken down. That, just purely speaking, in this play, you can't go for the blue buff in this position. You probably can't even go for the dragon, even if it is a 5v5. So another kill, as well as third drake being picked up.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Sean got the 2 early Drakes because otherwise it would be in a very bad position. But we do see that CR is playing from behind pretty well. They're taking what they can get. A couple mistakes with Sean being a little overzealous, but they're definitely punishing JBB where they can if they're ever disoriented or not completely all together. CR is together, and they're punishing JBB where they can, getting what they can take. So they're definitely playing it well as we see Sean going in here.
Elastic slingshot. Black shield lands. It is just Kid Guido. It is, of course, the begging hope, but still a loss of an ultimate. He does get away with his life, but
Ezreal.
Harley needs to be careful. This Ezreal does so much damage. 6-0 and 4. He's got the 3 items, and it looks like Sean's going in again. Interesting choice on that one. He is gonna get taken down. I guess just before Snack smash that wave up lane, and this is where it gets so hard for CR. They don't have enough members up. They don't have enough. They don't have enough gold items to be able to stop this storm from coming. It is going to be Daniel and Royal and Philly going towards the side. The roundhouse kick is going to come out. There's 3 there. It's just Saknat. He is going to ward hop. They're not going to go for it completely. But Saknat's looking to fight again. Now the real fight begins. Roto gets taken out. He has to flash out. Murphy drops out, but it's hitting no one. Saknat continuing to play in and out. Such a thorn in the side of CR as JBB are able to freely take out the mid lane. Saknat 1v4ing on this Lee Sin. So proficient on this champion. And they're going to back up after taking, I believe, just 2 of the inhibitors.
Yeah, that was a really weird decision from CR to me, where Daniel had Lee Sin stuck in the ult for a long time. CR knew where Saknat was, but they just kept taking the minions. They didn't position to surround Lee Sin, because you can expect that he's probably going to ward hop out as soon as he comes out of the ultimate, but the rest of CR, the other 3 members that were there, just kept taking the minions and didn't move on to Lee Sin at all and just allowed him to escape. That's a 1,000 gold bounty, and when you're this behind, that is like jackpot. They should have been all over Lee Sin there, but they just let him slip away.
Yeah, and they didn't get much as a result. Like normally, like if they would have gone all in on Lee Sin, yeah, sure, they would have lost mid inhibitor, but they lost mid inhib anyway. And now with
Yeah.
Baron coming up, it's going to be
And
such a small issue. Just to
the thing is,
get
the other three members were also there anyways. Like they weren't even like going mid. They were there just clearing minions off of that inhibitor instead of at least like moving forward a bit while you do it. So sadly, that could have been a really big comeback for CR right there if they got that shutdown. But we'll see what they try to do at Baron. They have a bit of potential to just steal it. Kid Corito is up 2 levels on Sean though, so
Well,
They could
Sean,
try for the YOLO rocket steal. Oh,
rather
Sean going for another
deep.
engage.
There's no one around him with the black shield as well. Ragnar gets popped. Harley's way too far forward. He's gonna go out, but there's still a member down. Now Daniel doing his best. He's in the death realm with Sakta, but it's not gonna be enough. They're just gonna wait it out. And there he is in the middle of 5 people that where he doesn't want to be. 2 people
Now
down.
that's how you surround someone in a Mordekaiser ult.
Exactly. See, the other team got it, and looks like they're gonna get the Nexus here. It's only the AD carries alive for the side of CR. They're gonna do all they can to clear the waves, but it's so much damage coming in from JBB. Saknet's going in. He's gonna with the roundhouse kick. Is gonna be there to kill. The death sentence lands onto Sakna. That is going to be the end of Sakna. Could be huge. Look for Jinx and the reset. She's running in, but she's in the Anivia ult. He's going to have to flash out. The Birdman goes golden. Chompers goes down directly onto him, but now Sean is alive. He's in with the last screenshot. QF CCing up everyone. Let's Bounce comes in, and we're bouncing all over. A huge comeback for CR so far. Royal is going to get the triple or quadra kill as they're going to continue to chase down Kid Burrito. He's gonna keep running away. Hack comes down. Smite lands onto him. Sean, the last slingshot comes up. Valkyrie comes in. Kid Corito flashes him, not giving them anything more than they have to. All 3 inhibitors are down. Baron is up. Now it's decision time for Casual.
That was just crazy. Yeah, you always gotta watch that Jinx. It's funny because that pretty much like that exact situation happened in game 2 when me on Scoop City played JBB, where they were pushing our Nexus, and I think I was playing Mordekaiser too, and we had the Jinx, and I think we had Jinx Thresh even. That kind of like exact situation happened where JBB, they, even though they could end, they just didn't execute properly. They went for a little too much playing around, trying to get too many kills, and then once Jinx gets 1 kill, especially in late game, like that just sets her off to keep going and keep going. We saw a lot of fancy footwork from Harley there, and then getting all those shutdowns and kills onto Royal was crucial. Now CR is in a pretty okay spot. If they're able to do that before, now that Corki has all those shutdowns, like just imagine the monster they've unleashed. He just hit level 17. It's gonna be really hard though. Like I remember playing from this exact position too. Is even though now it feels like, yeah, we really have a chance, we can win this, one tiny misstep will just cost you the rest of the game. So CR, they have a shot now, but they have to play like absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, you can see the triple 3 items on the Jinx. We saw she finished her eye. She's absolutely in a position where she can be shredding these. What the heck was that? It's not gonna matter, but that was incredible. As I was saying, 3 items on the Jinx, 3.5. She's got the last Whisper as well. There's 4 items on Royal. There is no MR on the side of JBB. You're gonna have to look at Royal, see what he can do. There is the Mountain Soul, so that is gonna be landing a bunch of stats, but it's gonna be on Royal as Daniel gets binded. Harley's doing what he can. They're just poking now. Triple inhib down does mean that there will be double super minions spawning in each lane if the game ends up lasting that long. Daniel out of position though. He's gonna ulti, but he doesn't have the damage for this to take it out, and Daniel's gonna be taken out at the beginning of a fight. CR has to push it now. Flash binding doesn't land for Bahuoto, but the hook onto Bahuoto does. Sean now in, but it's Harley getting stunned up on the back of the fight. He's going to be taken down. Royal now doing what he can. He's
on the Nexus.
Birdman is also on the Nexus. Sakna on the Nexus. They're doing their best, and they are going to take it out. Wasn't even close in the end. 3 for 5, and that is going to be JBB forcing a game 3.